An independent contractor is a worker other than an employee who performs services for a business or a person. That begs this question: how does California define employee? Last year, the California Supreme Court changed the definition of employee in a case known as dynamics. After that, many workers who had been labeled as independent contractors were actually employees. The dynamics decision created a new test to determine who was an employee. It's called the ABC test. The name is very appropriate because it has three different factors used to determine which workers are employees and which ones are independent contractors. If a business can prove that a worker is not an employee under all three factors, then California will consider the worker to be an independent contractor. The three factors are: A, the business does not control or direct the work performed by the worker. B, the worker performs work outside the usual course of the business. And C, the worker customarily engages in work of an independent trade, occupation, or business. Why did the California Supreme Court use this new test? Well, it replaced an old test that had 11 factors and was much harder to apply. Further, the legislature has historically said that it wants to provide broad protection for California workers. The Supreme Court supported that notion by saying the sweeping language defining the term employee must cover many workers. So, in my opinion, it was trying to provide the protections that employees get to gig economy workers. I consider the dynamics opinion the California answer to whether Uber and Lyft workers are employees. Uber and Lyft still maintain that their workers are independent contractors. Under the ABC test, I think they are employees. The dynamics case only applied the ABC test to the wage orders. Those are regulations that govern things like minimum wage, overtime, and meal periods. The Supreme Court limited the ABC test to the wage orders because it said that the definition of employee in those orders was very broad. It said that the other laws might not have been drafted as broadly, and in those cases, the ABC test might not apply. This year, however, the California legislature is developing a law that will broadly apply the ABC test to many, if not all, employment laws in California. We will need to wait and see in which situations the newly proposed law will apply the ABC test. One thing for sure, assuming it passes, it will apply to many more laws and regulations than just the wage orders.